part 3 of conic sections, we're going to be talking about the hyperbola. We're going to find the center, the vertices, the foci, the endpoints of the conjugate axis, the transverse axis, the asymptotes, and we're going to draw a quick sketch of the graph. Let us look at our problem. We have 2x squared minus y squared plus 12x minus 8y plus 3 is equal to 0. So the first thing we want to do is we want to get this equation in standard form. So I'm going to bring my 3 over to the right-hand side of the equation and couple all of the terms that are attached to the x together and couple all of the terms that are attached to the y together. So I have 2x squared plus 12x minus y squared minus 8y is equal to a negative 3. If I factor out a 2 amongst the terms that are attached to the x, we get 2 times x squared plus 6x. And if I factor out a negative 1 amongst the terms that are attached to the y, we get y squared plus 8y is equal to a negative 3. Now we want to complete the square inside of each one of our parentheses. So we have 2 times x squared plus 6x. 1/2 of 6 is 3. If we squared, it's 9. And we'll take care of the right-hand side in just a moment. And similarly, we have y squared plus 8y. 1/2 of 8 is 4. If we square it, it is 16. And we have that it's equal to negative 3. And of course, we have to add what we just created on the left side of the equation. So we have 9 times 2, which is 18. And we have 16 times negative 1, which is negative 16. If I factor the left-hand side of the equation, we get 2 times x plus 3 squared minus y plus 4 squared, which is equal to, on the right-hand side of the equation, we have negative 1. We are certainly looking good, but we still need to perform a few more operations to get this equation in standard form. So what I'm going to do is divide both sides by a negative 1. So we have negative 2 times x plus 3 squared over 1 plus y plus 4 squared over 1 is equal to 1. Now I'm just going to sort of reorder my left side of the equation. So we have y plus 4 squared over 1 minus 2 times x plus 3 squared over 1 is equal to 1. Now I need to move this 2 to our denominator, and in order to do that, we have y plus 4 squared over 1 minus x plus 3 squared over 1/2. And that's equal to 1. So now we have our equation in standard form. It is of the form y minus k squared over a squared minus x minus h squared over b squared is equal to 1. Now we can easily find all of the pieces of information that we're looking for. The center is going to be h comma k, which is equal to negative 3, negative 4. Our vertices are going to be h, k plus or minus a, which is equal to negative 3, negative 4 plus or minus 1, which is equal to negative 3, negative 5, and negative 3, negative 3. Now we want to find our foci. So our foci is going to be h, k plus or minus c. Well, what is c? C is equal to the square root of a squared plus b squared, which is equal to the square root of 1 plus 1/2, which is equal to the square root of 3/2. Now, the square root of 3/2 is approximately 1.2. So we're going to use 1.2. So coming back to our formula, we have negative 3, negative 4 plus or minus 1.2, which is equal to -3, -5.2, and -3, -2.8. How about our endpoints of the conjugate axis? So the endpoints of the conjugate axis is going to be h plus or minus b k, which is equal to -3 plus or minus the square root of 1/2 -4, which is equal to -3.7 -4, and -2.3 -4. Now our transverse axis is going to be vertical. So that's going to be x equals h. So our transverse axis is going to be x equals h, which is equal to -3. Now we want to find our asymptotes. Our formula for our asymptotes are y minus k is equal to plus or minus a over b x minus h. So that's going to give us y plus 4 is equal to plus or minus our a, which is 1, over our b, which is the square root of 1 over 2. And that's going to be x minus h. So x minus h will be x plus 3. And we can simplify this just a little bit more to y plus 4 is equal to plus or minus the square root of 2, x plus 3. Okay, and now we are ready to graph. So let us draw a graph. And let's put enough marks on it here. So we're going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I think that's enough for our graph. So what we're going to do is first let us locate the center. We said our center is at -3 and -4. So I'm going to say -1, -2, -3, and down 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So our first point will be right here. And then now we're going to locate our vertices. So here we're at -3, and we're going to go down 3. So 1, 2, and 3. So our point will be here, and then we're going to go -3, -5. So we have -3, 5 here. And now let's find our points for the foci. Our foci will be -3, -5.2. So 5.2 will be just a little bit below 5. And our -3, 2.8 will be just above the 3, okay? And there you have it there. And now we're going to find the endpoints of the conjugate axis. So that's going to be -3.7, -4. So here we're at -3, and 3.7 will be here, and we come down 4. And we have another one that will be about right here, and we're going to go down 4. And then what we're going to do is we're going to draw a box combining our vertices and the endpoints of the conjugate axis. So we're going to draw like a little box, just like this. And interestingly, our asymptotes will go along the corners of the box, which is pretty cool because that is the equation that we derived previously. So now we're just going to draw our graph out like that, okay? And that is all for conic sections working with the hyperbola. Thank you so much for watching, and always remember that you are awesome.